Welcome back to my channel. The thumbnail of this video says, how can you earn 10% guaranteed? Let's get into it. So my cousin Mark called me a week ago and he said, I'm gonna move south where the weather's not so bad in about 5 years and I have some money saved. I don't want it to be risky, but I would like to earn some return on this money. I've looked at savings accounts and the most I can find is like 0.75% per year. I've looked at CDs. The most I can find is about 2% per year. But right now inflation's 6%, 5, 6, 7%. I would like to earn more than inflation. I don't want to lose spending power. And I would like it to be guaranteed. I don't want to invest in stock market and have a chance of losing money. He said, what's the best I can do? And so I thought for a second, and the Wall Street Journal, which is the most widely read business publication in the world, has written a good number of articles on something called I-bonds in the last few months. And so I looked, and there have been 6 articles on I-bonds in the Wall Street Journal in the last 6 months, some by really famous economists. I'll put the link to all 6 of those articles in the description below. These articles are all talking about something called I-bond. Many of you probably haven't heard of these. They're not very widely consumed or purchased by individuals. So you need to purchase them from the government. No financial advisor will push these because there's no fees or incentives for advisors to push these. The advisors sell you stuff that's going to make them money. Well, these can't make them money, so they wouldn't push them. They've gotten a lot more popular in the last couple of years. In 2020, the government sold $1.2 billion worth of I-bonds. In 2021, that number jumped to $11 billion worth of I-bonds. So these Wall Street Journal articles are uncovering this truth. I think the bonds are yielding 7% right now. And in May, that 7% jumps to 9.6%. So for the 6 months starting in May, I-bonds will pay 9.6% guaranteed. That's a lot of return. So how these bonds work, there's sort of 2 parts. There's some fixed interest rate that never changes over the life of these bonds, and these bonds, they're 30 years, each one of them. And then there's some inflation part on top of that fixed rate, and that updates twice a year. Every 6 months, they change that based on inflation over the past half of a year. They're guaranteed never to go negative, so if your fixed rate is 0 and inflation is negative, you couldn't earn a negative percent. So the floor is 0%. The worst you could do is 0%. There is something else called TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, and if inflation is negative on those, you'll earn a negative return. But I-bonds the floor is 0. You couldn't earn a negative return. So you're guaranteed a positive return. And in May, starting in May, the 6 months starting in May, you'll earn 9.6%, which is almost 10% guaranteed. So these bonds, they're not perfect though. There's a couple disadvantages. The first one is you can only buy 10,000 worth of these per person per year. But if you think about it, if we go back to the middle of December and you're married, you can buy 10,000 in December and 10,000 in January. Your spouse can buy 10,000 in December and 10,000 in January. So a couple could buy 40,000 sort of in that 1 month period that starts in the end of December. So that's a good amount of money. The second disadvantage, just a small disadvantage, is you can't redeem them for 12 months at least. And then if you redeem them between 1 year and 5 years, you pay some penalty. That penalty is you lose 3 months worth of interest. And then if you redeem them between 5 and 30 years, there's no penalty. So these are a really good thing. So there are a couple of advantages to I-bonds. The first one is you don't owe state or local tax on the interest. You do owe federal tax, unfortunately. Second, compared to the alternative, if you're looking for a protection against inflation, the Treasury Inflation Protected Securities TIPS, those earn inflation. So if inflation is negative, they have a negative return. I-bonds, the floor is 0. If inflation is negative, you'll still earn 0. You'll never have a negative return. They're easy to buy. You just go to treasurydirect.gov website. I'll put that in the description below. So just something to consider if you're looking for guaranteed, positive, safe return. You should consider I-bonds. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have comments, please put them below. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.